Hello, and thank you for joining us here on Broncos and Bourbon Live Edition. The Broncos get a huge win on Monday Night Football, 28-3, the final over let's just call them a Bengals team that came in less than enthused, playing without their star quarterback, Joe Burrow, really feeling like that affected the whole team there, as that was just sort of a Bengals team that was a shell of itself. But the Broncos handled business just like they needed to. A nice outing for Bo Nix. The Broncos quarterback got under a little bit of criticism this week after a couple of shaky games as the Broncos entered this one 1-2. But the Broncos took care of business here today, and Bo Nix had a nice night. 29 of 42. 326 yards, 3 total touchdowns. He did have that interception there in the end zone. That was on 4th down, though, so just putting the ball out there to try and make something happen. But a nice bounce back game for Bo Nix. The Broncos, by no means were they perfect, but they did exactly what they needed to do. They had to win this game. They improved to 2-2 on the season, setting up a huge matchup coming up next week against the defending Super Bowl champs and the Philadelphia Eagles. So thank you so much for joining us here live on Broncos and Bourbon. This was a game that the Broncos really pounded the ball. They had a nice night on the ground. J.K. Dobbins, 101 yards on 16 carries. He becomes the first Broncos running back to rush for more than 100 yards during the Sean Payton era. So he was able to take care of business, and they were able to get things going there on the ground. So nice to see that. Let's go over to YouTube page here so I can see how we're doing here live on Broncos and Bourbon here. So let me check out the channel here. We are live on Broncos and Bourbon. So thank you so much. Thank you for leaving some comments here. We'll get some comments going as soon as they come through here on YouTube. So thank you so much for joining us here on Broncos and Bourbon, a live edition. So yes, thought that the ground game getting going, that was huge. Show J.K. Dobbins' numbers again here, 16 carries. The Broncos ran the ball 38 times. Of course, in the second half, when this thing kind of got away from the Bengals, the Broncos pounding the ball and making them pay, I thought that was important. But overall, really just setting the tone. The offensive line played really well tonight. I thought they let Bo Nix kind of operate how he needed to. Bo, I thought, did a nice job. Let's show his numbers here again. Bo Nix, 29 of 42, 326 yards, 3 total touchdowns, 2 in the air. That last one, as easy as they come to Harvey, but he had a nice night, used his legs a little bit, had the rushing touchdown. I thought that he was just dangerous enough with his legs to make the Bengals think twice, and he made them pay, certainly. And I thought that Cortland Sutton had a nice night, 5 receptions for 81 yards and a touchdown. The Broncos just really doing exactly what they needed to do. So I thought that they took care of business and just did a really a nice job. So an impressive outing from the Broncos as they beat up on the Bengals. Was not perfect, though. The penalties continue to be a problem for this Broncos team. Let me check out what the total penalties were for your Denver Broncos. 7 for 72. Still want to see that get cleaned up a little bit. Let's talk about the yardage disparity here for your Broncos over the Bengals here. Let me see, where did I have? There we go. Total yards here. The Broncos finished the game with 515 total yards. The Bengals just 159. It's the most lopsided game in the NFL so far this year in terms of the total yards. The Bengals started out this game, believe it or not, driving down the field, 12 plays, 62-yard drive, took up 5 minutes and 52 seconds. They got stalled out there right near the goal line, decided to kick the field goal. They took a 3-0 lead. But the thing after that, they did not see Broncos territory after the first drive of the game. I mean, talk about just a dominating defensive performance. They did not cross the 50-yard line again in the game after that first drive. I'll tell you what, you feel for a guy like Jake Browning, put it into a difficult situation there. 14 to 25, just 125 yards. Did not turn the ball over, but he was sacked 3 times. This Broncos defense only had 3 sacks on the day, but it felt like they were in his face the entire night. I mean, they talk about pressures, QB hits. They were in his grill, and you just felt like, hey, it didn't matter who was playing quarterback back there. With that Broncos defense flying around in his face like that, he just didn't stand a chance, And I think that it can be easy to look at that Bengals team and say, well, they're just missing Joe Burrow. The defense should still be able to do what they need to do. Not the case. I've been on around some of those Broncos teams that just really could not get anything going on the offensive side. And you know what happens in those situations? It affects the whole team. The whole team just feels so deflated. And I think you're seeing that with the Bengals here. They got blown out last week against the Vikings, blown out again today. It just brings everybody down. You just get down on yourself, and it becomes a hard way to play football in the National Football League. A couple of comments here. We got B Camp saying, Phil, for the win. Love you, man. Go Broncos. Thank you very much. Love you too. Appreciate you checking out the show. We got Andy Schrant just saying, hey, Phil here. Please leave a comment, and we'll get to some of those here on the show. Do appreciate you all checking out the live edition of Broncos and Bourbon. The Broncos getting a big 28-3 win over the Bengals. But yeah, the Bengals just seem like a deflated team. Maybe you thought that if Burrow, they could just sort of stick it out until he comes back in December. It does not appear like that is going to be the case. This Bengals team just looks like a team that's just ready to be done, quite frankly. So that's what it felt like out there, and the Broncos really made them pay. Thought that they did just a nice job of mixing things up, did what they needed to do. It was not a perfect game by any stretch. There were some times in the game where maybe Bo still looked like he was just like a little bit off still. A couple of times where he just felt like a little bit antsy in the pocket to me. There was one pass, I think that it was to Troy Franklin. Troy should have definitely caught that. Bo put it between 2 defenders, but it did seem a little bit underthrown, and it seemed like, once again, Bo just not quite set with his feet and ready to deliver a strike in there. But he did a nice job overall, so you can't really criticize Bo in this one. He had a nice night. He I think was feeling some pressure heading into this one just because the Broncos had lost back-to-back games. They were back at home. It was Monday Night Football. This was a team that the Broncos should have come out and just taken care of business, and they did that. So you got to give Bo Nix some credit there for just going out and doing what he needed to do. So I thought that the Broncos had just an efficient game plan overall. Cortland Sutton, a big night, 5 catches for 81 yards and a touchdown. And I thought that J.K. Dobbins crossing the century mark for the first time in Sean Payton's tenure here in Denver. I thought that was very impressive. Let's go through some of the numbers here because they were so lopsided. The Broncos had 29 first downs. The Bengals had just 9. Just 9. They were 2 for 11 on third down. Those 2 third down conversions came in that opening drive. So the Broncos, they give up those 3 points, and then they just absolutely shut things down. The Broncos ran 80 plays on offense. You got to feel for that Bengals defense because 80 plays, that's a lot of plays for any defense to be out there on the field. So passing, I believe this was the 3rd time in Bo Nix's career that he got over the 300-yard mark. So just sort of another benchmark here for Bo Nix crossing 300 yards. That's sort of a nice mark there for the quarterback. Still, completion percentage 29 of 42. Maybe you want to see that get a little bit improved, but once again, no knocks on Bo, other than maybe the interception in the red zone. Again, that was on a 4th down, so you're just trying to put the ball out there and let something happen, give them a shot. Of course, it's a touchback, but at that point, probably worth it to just try and give your team a chance to make a play Nice play by the Bengals defender there, too. So let's keep going through this. 186 rushing yards, 38 attempts on the ground. So Bo threw the ball 42 times. They ran the ball 38 times. That's pretty much what you would want. That's an ideal situation there for the Broncos as they get the victory 28-3 over the Cincinnati Bengals. And the Broncos doing what they needed to do in this one. It was important for them to come out, shut this team down right away. They did that. They did a nice job early in this game. After giving up those 3 points, the Broncos really went to work and they jumped out to a 14-3 lead. Then the touchdown right before halftime really put this thing away. So no need to have any drama late in this game. The Broncos took care of business early on, and it was really never a question after that third touchdown there before halftime. After that, you knew that this thing was over, and the Broncos really taking care of business. I'm curious, though, what do you guys think? Did the Broncos do enough here for you to feel like, okay, they're back on track? That's what I'm curious enough. We got Dan Wybrow per Vic. I think he means Lombardi, first 100-yard rusher since the Roosevelt administration. I saw that tweet. Very funny there. But yes, it did feel like a very long time since the Broncos had a 100-yard rusher. So nice to see that. But I'm curious, do you feel like all is right now in Broncos country? Have they made things are you feeling a lot better now after a game like this, or do you still have some concerns? If you do have concerns, what are they? Because it does feel like a game like this is just good for your soul, right? It just feels like things are back on track. You just feel like things are right. I will say though that this Bengals team is a shell of what it's possible for this Bengals team. I mean, Jamar Chase, you didn't really feel his presence out there. PS2, that was like a sort of a big talked about matchup coming into this game. Let's see here. Chase had 3 catches for 31 yards. I'm sorry, that was Chase Brown. Jamar Chase, 5 catches for just 23 yards, targeted 8 times, 5 catches there. So really just didn't feel his presence in this game. Jake Browning not able to be enough of a threat to make you feel like Jamar Chase was going to make the Broncos pay at any point here. T. Higgins had a couple of nice plays, but really 3 catches for 32 yards for T. Higgins. That was a rematch against Riley Moss. I thought that Moss did a great job again tonight. So, yeah, the Broncos just all across the board took care of business. Dan, another comment here. It's the Bengals, so tonight felt good. We needed a get-back game, but let's see what happens against a good team. Could not agree more here, because I will say the one thing that we need to find out about this Broncos team is, can they beat a good team? We have not seen that happen with the Broncos dating back to last year in this Bo Nix regime. Since the turnaround, if you will, the Broncos have not beaten a team with a winning record other than the Bucs last year. All the way back at the beginning of the season, they did not beat a team last year that finished with a winning record other than Tampa. And so far this year, the Broncos losing to the Colts, the Broncos losing to the Chargers, and then they beat up on just a team that looks to just not really want to be involved here the rest of the way. So, I want to see, can the Broncos take care of business? Can they play an Eagles team next week tough? Can they just kind of show that to me is like a sort of a mini step here in the season? Can you go on the road defending Super Bowl champs and knock off the Eagles? That would really show something to me. Can the Broncos stay committed to the run like they did here tonight? 38 rushes, that is a commitment level. That was a mindset that the Broncos came into this game with. And you could just tell right off the bat, J.K. Dobbins determined. I think I heard Lisa Salters during the broadcast say that he told her he felt like he was going to cross the century mark here in this game. So the Broncos clearly came into this game with a mindset saying, hey, we are going to run the football. And that's exactly what they did. Can they stay that committed moving forward? I think you saw some of those shifty moves there by R.J. Harvey too. Like, I think that this 2-headed monster here is starting to pick up a little bit of steam here. So would like to see them continue to stay committed to the run game, even in a game where they're not just crushing their opponent. Can they stay committed? Can they really continue to make things a little bit easier for Bo Nix? Marvin Mims, I thought, had a nice night tonight. 6 catches, 69 yards. He had the rushing touchdown, 16 yards on the ground, continuing to use Marvin Mims in some creative ways. I just thought that all around, the Broncos did what they needed to do tonight, and you're feeling much better about this Broncos team moving forward. But still some concerns. I still think that you saw Bo not set his feet on a couple of those throws, still running forward while he wants to throw the ball. Just some things that a really good team with a solid defense might make you pay for some of those things. I thought that they came into this game also really focused on penalties, and I think that the Broncos continue to show that they're not quite as clean as they'd like to be. 7 for 72 yards in this one. Of course, it didn't really show up because the Bengals were just that bad, I thought. I think that didn't hurt them clearly tonight, but against a better team, maybe you would feel that. But I thought that overall the offensive line played well. Bo did not get sacked in this game, so a nice night. Anytime you got a guy running for 100 yards and your quarterback stayed clean back there, that is a great night for your offensive line. So a nice night for the Broncos all across the board. And maybe you just need a game like this early in the season to start to really feel that confidence again moving forward. So I think that's what the Broncos were able to do, build a little bit of confidence here, and then continue on here moving forward with the Eagles coming up next week. So a good game all around for the Broncos, 28-3, the final. And then just really, if you don't believe the 28-3 was dominating enough, I think that this number here, total yards, 515 to 159, really shows you what this game was really like. 515 total yards to just 159. And Joe Buck on the broadcast said that was the most lopsided game in the NFL so far this season. So I think that sort of wraps up the game there for you. Really a commitment to the run. I thought that Bo Nix played well, and I think that you're feeling a little bit better here heading into that Eagles game. We got Mike Golden here saying, is it safe to chalk next week's game as a loss? Man, I'll tell you what. I think that the way the Broncos played tonight, you feel like they got a shot in this thing. They're good enough. The defense is good enough. I don't think you're going to go into any game saying that, hey, they can't win this one. I don't think you can go. I don't think this Broncos team is going to go into any game saying that it's definitely going to be a loss. But I'll say this: they haven't shown that they could beat a good team. Not only are the Eagles a good team, but they're a great team. They're playing like they didn't miss a beat after winning the Super Bowl, and they got Vic Fangio. You know that he's going to want to dial up some stuff. He's going to make life difficult there for Bo Nix. They're going on the road. That is an extremely tough place to play. The last time the Broncos were there, I was there with them. The Eagles ran out of fireworks in that game. That was Carson Wentz going crazy in that one. And after the touchdowns, they were firing out the fireworks, and they ran out, put a message up on the Jumbotron. Sorry, we ran out of fireworks. Hard to imagine a bigger troll up on the Jumbotron in any away stadium than say, hey, sorry to the fans, we ran out of fireworks because we scored so much. So that is a tough place to play. The Philly fans are crazy. They boo Santa Claus. So you know that it's a tough place to play. The night before, you got to get a cheesesteak. Shout out to Jim's cheesesteaks there in Philly. But, yeah, I don't think that you could chalk anything up to a loss because this team is good enough. But it would be a huge stepping stone sort of game for the Broncos if they could go to Philly and get the win. So I won't chalk it up to a loss, but I'll say it would really prove something if they're able to go to Philly and get the win there. Adam Z here saying it was a good confidence builder, but next week is going to be a huge test. 100% agree. Mike Golden follows up, says, if we beat the Eagles in Philly, I think that shows where this team could be at the end of the year. Another good point there. The Broncos are continuing to build this thing, right? They don't need to be peaking in week 4 of the season here. They want to continue to build, continue to build, continue to build, and be peaking heading into the playoffs. Tell me, what do you guys think? What is this team still sort of missing that would give you some indicators that, yeah, they can contend in the AFC? They could go and beat Buffalo. They can go and beat Pittsburgh, Baltimore 1-3. Start of the season, not where they were hoping to be, but you feel like with Lamar Jackson, they're eventually going to figure this thing out. If they could stay healthy enough, they're going to be there. Can the Broncos beat a team like Baltimore? The Chiefs seem to be back on track here. They said enough of this silly nonsense that the run is over. We're still the Chiefs. I think they showed that this week. The Chargers, first loss of the season. That seems like maybe a letdown loss against the Giants there. Maybe they thought, hey, Jackson Dart starting that game. We don't need to be worried about this. But it goes to show you can get beat any week in the NFL. So you tell me, what do you think the Broncos need to continue to build at going forward? What is it going to take to beat the Eagles here? I think that if they do beat them, though, you're exactly right. That would be a huge, huge confidence builder. But the Broncos, they got to be feeling pretty good about where they are after this one tonight. 28-3, the final over the Bengals. And you know what? It was a Bengals team that was really sort of a shell of itself. But guess what? This is a team that was on the schedule. This is all the Broncos could have done. And they took care of business and did exactly what they needed to do. So I think that you got to be feeling pretty good about the night that the Broncos had tonight. Maybe you can just sort of wash away some demons here and say, okay, clean slate here. The Broncos are 2-2. It's a wipe the slate clean and go into next week saying, look, this is a fresh start. This is a new team. We've got our confidence back. We got our swagger back. That is important in the NFL to have that swagger. It seemed like the pass rush tonight got back into its rhythm, got its flow going. It was like a race to see who could get to Jake Browning first. 3 sacks on the night for this Broncos team. I think that you just got to be feeling good heading into a big game next week. Dan Wybrow comes back here. Would love to beat Philly. I think the defense could at least survive against the Philly offense, but can the offense show up like this again? Got to see the consistency. Feed JK. 100% correct. You got to continue to stay committed to the ground game. I think that the defense is going to give you a shot in that one. The big thing to me is Bo Nix. Really, if you ask me personally, every single week it's going to be sort of a Bo Nix thing to me. If Bo protects the football, if Bo is enough of a threat with his legs like he was tonight, he didn't take off and run like a ton, but he was enough of a threat to make the Bengals think about it, right? And that just makes a defense really sit back on its heels just a touch, before they go out and do things. I did think that the Bengals tackling was not great tonight. They overcommitted, over-pursued a little bit in a couple of situations, and the yards after catch were pretty good for the Broncos, I thought, tonight. But, yeah, can Bo be enough of a threat with his legs to make the defense think, to pause for a second? And then can he deliver some balls like he did tonight? I thought that he played a good game tonight. Here's his numbers one more time here. 29 of 42, 326 yards, 3 total touchdowns, the interception. You take away that interception and you have a game like that, you're going to be able to beat any team in this league, I think. So I think that you protect the football, you deliver some throws, some timely plays, and you stay committed to the ground game. And I think that the Broncos defense is good enough that you're going to be able to win a lot of games with that formula. So we'll see if the Broncos can stay that committed, because it's easy. Say you fall down 7-0, maybe it's 7-3. You have a 3 and out. The next time you get the ball, you're starting to overthink things a little bit, and then you're saying, okay, we got to get back in this thing. We got to have some explosives. We got to do this and this and that. Just stay calm, stay committed to the running game. I think that the Broncos right now, their best offensive players, J.K. Dobbins, Cortland Sutton, and then after that, it could be Harvey. Maybe you want to throw the offensive line in there as a whole unit, but I think that definitely Dobbins and Sutton are your two guys. Get them the ball as much as you possibly can, and good things are going to happen here. So I think that that's the formula, and I think that the Broncos are going to be able to win a lot of games that way. So they certainly did that tonight, 28-3, the final. So we got a good show coming up later on this week. Troy Rank, the Denver Post columnist, will be our guest on Broncos and Bourbon coming up later this week. So stay tuned for that episode. And let me know, do you like the post-game reaction here? If you do, drop a comment and let me know, do you like this format? Trying to get more people in the discussion here, trying to make this thing an interactive show, and we can get this thing rolling. And if you like it, we'll do more of these post-game reactions. Just figured, hey, this is a big game. Broncos needed to win this one. It's Monday Night Football. Let's do one. And if you like these, please let me know. And, of course, like and subscribe. Let me know what you think about the channel. And like I mentioned, Troy Rank will be joining us later this week with a full breakdown of this one and a preview of what's happening next Sunday, an 11 o'clock kickoff, the first early one for the Broncos this year as they face the defending Super Bowl champs in Philadelphia. So this is a big one for the Broncos, and I think if you beat them, I think you're going to really be feeling that this Broncos team is going to be able to start building on this and get the season get back to where they thought that they should be at the beginning of the year. So, all right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for joining us live here on Broncos and Bourbon. I am your host, the Broncos. I'm your host, Phil Milani. The Broncos get a big victory, 28-3 over the Cincinnati Bengals to improve to 2-2 on the season.